That's what we're going to do. We're going to be looking at Valda's Spire of Secrets today. So I don't have a web camera, so I just got Valda over here on the side. Easily one of the sexiest liches I think I've ever seen in my life, so that's fine. We'll just keep them up here on the side there. And let's jump into this bad boy. 380 something pages long from Mage Hand Press. Afflicted by a sinister curse, witches can spin dark magic into hexes, which they use to debilitate their foes. They're also accompanied by their familiars, loyal magical companions, which they use to deal the killing blow. Play a witch if you want to hobble your enemies and cackle while doing so. A dope. Oh man. How do we decide? Let's just skip to witches. That's how we decide. Look at that. We're already down at witches. That's great. Okay. The witch. They are cursed. Others are blessed with magic, witches are cursed by it. Afflicted by some hateful arcana, whether accidentally or intentionally, witches are twisted inside and out with its daily tortures. Okay. Pariahs and outcasts. Nobody likes them. Think they're related to hags. Blah, blah, blah. I guess if you took Hexborn, you would be. In reality, very few people choose to become witches. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, Familiar Masters. It's rare to find a witch without his or her constant companion, the Familiar. The Familiars might be conjured by other spellcasters as well. The Witch's Familiar is ubiquitous to common folk for good reason. Witches command intuitive magic and have a deep link to their Familiar. As a result, they can conjure more exotic Familiars and command them more swiftly than other spellcasters. Dope. Alright. So this is an actual spellcasting class that has 1 through 9 progression and knows a pretty decent amount of spells. Sadly, it is not intelligence based. It is fucking charisma based, which is a big disappointment. Come on, guys. There's so many charisma casters already. Like, what the hell? I know that's because they want witches to be sexy, but they don't have to be sexy. They could... Meh. I think I would definitely, much like I do with Warlock, I would most assuredly allow you to... Yeah, I would most assuredly allow you to switch for intelligence on a witch. Come on now. Alright, so what do witches got? They got a D8 hit die. Seeming very Warlock so far. They've got light armor, simple weapons, blowguns, short swords, and whips. They start with Alchemist supplies and Poisoner's kit proficiency. They got Wisdom and Charisma saving throws, which are both very good saving throws. They get to choose from Arcana, Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Persuasion, Nature, and Religion. Those are all pretty good. They're all mostly intelligence-based. Well, okay, like half and half. I don't know. Anyways, you can start the game with 4 cantrips. That's cool. The Witch table shows how many spell slots you have to cast your spells at first level and higher. Spells known. Let's see. Each of these spells must be of a level for which you have spell slots as shown on the table. For instance, when you reach 3rd level, you gain 1 new spell slot. Additionally, when you gain a new spell in this class, you choose one witch spell and rewrite it. Blah, blah, blah. Charisma is your spellcasting ability, which is super lame. You're a ritual caster, but you're still not intelligence-based. You can cast any witch spell you know as a ritual if it has a ritual tag. That's really good. A lot of people don't realize there aren't a lot of ritual casters in 5e. Everyone pretends that they can cast ritual spells, but they actually can't. Spellcasting focus. You can use your Arcane focus as a spellcasting focus for your witch spells. It's important to tell you that there's boy and girl witches. Male witches are often called hexers. You know, if you're reading the Witcher novels in their original language, I guess. Alright. Witch's curse. So, at first level, you choose the form of a curse that fucked you up. Okay, that's weird. You're racked by a terrible curse which infects your body and soul. And you gotta pick one. Alright, so you were burned. So if you were burned alive, you have fire resistance and the produce flame cantrip. That's awesome. Drowned, you can breathe water and air and have a swim speed equal to your walking speed. That's awesome. Feral, through your curse, you have forgotten the manners and customs of civilized men. You have proficiency in survival. Additionally, while you're wearing no armor, not wielding a shield, your armor class is 12 plus your dexterity modifier. That's not great. Hideous. Your appearance is ghastly. Behold, you have proficiency in intimidation. When you roll initiative, you can choose one humanoid you want to scare. That creature must make a wisdom saving throw against your DC or be frightened until the end of your next turn. Hollow. Your soul has been divorced from your body, trapped in a limbo between life and death. When your familiar reduces a hostile creature to 0, you drain some of its life force, gaining temporary hit points equal to your witch level plus your charisma modifier. That's pretty dope. Infested, you are constantly followed by vermin like insects and rats, which crawl on your skin and swarm in your wake. As a result, you are immune to disease. Additionally, you command these pests as your own. Starting at 2nd level, you could choose the form of a swarm of rats for your familiar. Starting at 7th level, you may choose a swarm of insects. Okay. Loveless, you are cursed to never find true love. Jaded and disaffected, not even magic can turn your heart. As a result, you are immune to charm. Immune to charm is pretty damn good. Full immunity to charm, that's pretty damn good. Possessed, your soul is occupied by a foreign spirit that sometimes tries to wrest away your consciousness. However, while you sleep, the spirit whispers additional magical secrets to you. You learn an additional witch spell at a level for which you have spell slots at 1st level, and again at 4th level, 8th level, and 12th level. These spells do not count against your total number of spells known. Holy shit. Starving. No matter how much you eat, food turns to ash in your mouth. Your curse nourishes you, but only at the edge of starvation. You're constantly racked by pangs of hunger. You don't need to eat or drink, and you can still imbibe and benefit from potions. Additionally, you're immune to being poisoned. Not poison damage, just the poison status. That seems pretty shitty compared to some of these other ones. But not, not terrible. Visions, you are cursed having terrible visions of the future. Blah, blah, blah. You add charisma modifier in addition to dexterity modifier to your initiative rolls. Sorry, but if I could take fire resistance, I don't know why. Yeah, okay. Whispers. Unseen voices murmur in your ears at all times. As such, you can telepathically speak to any creature you can see within 30 feet. You don't need to share a language with the creature for it to understand your telepathy, but the creature must be able to understand at least one language. Wow, wow, wow. It's pretty good. So it's already feeling like a warlock, but different, I guess. You can learn a number of powerful incantations and it was hexes. Which is weird, right? This seems like oracles from Pathfinder, but Pathfinder also has witches. Yeah. Lex, clerics, druids, wizards, and bards are the ones that can cast rituals. None of the other people can do it. Let's see. At 1st level, you gain 2 hexes of your choice. Your hex options are detailed at the end of the class description. When you gain certain witch levels, you gain additional hexes. So these hexes sound a lot like invocations or whatever that you get from Warlock. At 2nd level, you legitimately gain the ability to cackle. At 2nd level, you can use your bonus action to cackle. The duration of your hex extends by 1 round for each creature affected within 60 feet of you. Not all witches laugh maniacally when they cackle. Some go ara ara. But all cackles require a verbal component as a spell. These range from mundane curses and insults to the murmuring of dead languages and speaking backwards. Good job role-playing that speaking backwards. Good job, guys. You also get at 2nd level a Find Familiar spell. You can cast as a ritual, get ready for this shit, without material components, so no more getting harassed about your incense supplies. Your familiar takes its turn immediately before or after you each turn. I like that. Might have to modify my own familiar rules for that one. Once per turn as an action or a bonus action, you can mentally command your familiar to use its reaction to make an attack. Attacking familiar. When you cast a spell, you can deliver it through your familiar as if it had cast a spell, even if it doesn't have a range of touch. Um, when you cast the spell, you could choose one of the normal forms for your familiar, and the special ones detailed in this book: Death Snail, Flying Book, Homunculus, Mock? Oh, Mock, Moon Jelly, Pet Rock, Pseudo Dragon, Ragdoll, Sprite, Tin Soldier, Winter Wolf Pup, and Yarn Golem. Okay. Okay. Um, Witch's Craft. Your knowledge of magic has culminated in learning a craft. And innately, they're just introducing mechanics fucking left and right. They're just like, oh, here you go. You could, here, oh, this too. You're cursed. You're hexing people. Your familiars now are Pokemans. You got to pick out some witchcrafts now. Okay. So let's see. When you reach third level, choose one Witch's Craft. Your choice grants you features at third, sixth, 10th, 14th. So craft, I believe, is the subclasses for these. Each craft is associated with a branch of Arcana, represented by a number of spells you can learn. Are you telling me that there's 9 like witch schools, just like there's 9 wizards? Because that's a lot. That's a lot for me to accept here. Each craft is associated with a branch of magic. These spells count as witch spells, and don't count against your total number of spells known. These guys know a lot of spells. As a witch, familiars you summon are imbued with your insidious magic, granting them the following benefits. Your familiar can use your spell attack bonus for its attack rolls. Holy shit. Your familiar adds your proficiency bonus to its armor class, saving throws, and damage rolls. You add twice your witch level to your familiar's maximum hit points. Okay, I want to play a witch. Is that a thing? I mean, is anybody out there? Anybody out there okay with me playing a witch in their game? Cause this is the good shit right here. Oh my god. Insidious spell. Starting at 5th level, when you cast a witch spell that affects a creature that is under the effect of your hex, that creature has disadvantage on its saving throw against the spell. What? This feature, no wonder they're called the debuff class. This feature only applies to hostile creature, which is the sole target of your hex. At 7th level, you improve your familiar. Your familiar's attacks count as magical for the purposes of overcoming damage, resistance, and immunity. Okay. Additionally, you could choose the following forms for your familiar: Brass Dragon Wormling, no breath weapon, a Fright, a Grep, an Imp, or a Quasit. Keep in mind that Imps and Quasits give you magic resistance. The statistics for creatures marked, blah, 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 in the appendix. Dying Curse. Beginning at 9th level, when a creature reduces you to 0 hit points but does not kill you outright, you may lay a nefarious curse upon them. The creature is cursed for up to 24 hours. While cursed, the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. If you regain consciousness or the creature is targeted by the remove curse spell, the curse ends at the end of the creature's next turn. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish long rest. It's very situational, but it's very cute at the same time, this Dying Curse. Grand Hex. By 11th level, you have perfected deeply malevolent forms of magic. You learn one Grand Hex, and you can learn another at 13th, 15th, 18th. Grand Hexes are detailed at the end of this class description. And finally, Hex Master. At 20th level, Capstone. You have mastered your foul magic. Humanoid creatures have disadvantage on saving throws against your hexes. Wowee. Well, what do the hexes do? Abate. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet of you to make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, that creature can't take reactions until the end of your next turn. Eh. Eh. Never seen. Meh. Apathy. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet of you to make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, until the end of your next turn, the creature becomes indifferent towards one creature of choice that is hostile towards. This indifference ends if the target is attacked or harmed by a spell by the creature to which is indifferent. When the hex ends, the creature becomes hostile again. Okay, so these aren't very good. Like, at least the first two. Let's see. Beckon Familiar. You can cast Find Familiar as an action without expending a spell slot. Holy shit. Holy shit. Once you cast a spell in this manner, you can't do so for a minute. So it does give you a recast of Find Familiar. So you basically get one extra life on your Familiar. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Because you normally summon as a ritual, so that's 10 minutes. You start the fight, he dies, you bring him back one time. There's no way the fight's going to take longer than 10 rounds, so you get one extra life and familiar. Bleeding. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet to make a Constitution save. Ouch. On a failed save, each time this creature takes damage, it loses an additional 1d4 hit points. This effect lasts until the end of your next turn. Well, with active initiative, that could actually be pretty good. But the Constitution save is rough, and having to reapply it. Oh, no, 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 no. You just have to cackle, and that reapplies it. That's right. We have to pay attention to the mechanics. Once you land a hex on somebody, you just keep sinking your bonus action into cackling, and that keeps the effect going. Charm. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is charmed by you until the end of your next turn. When the hex ends, the creature knows it was charmed by you. Dire Familiar. As an action, you can bolster your summoned familiar for 1 minute. Your familiar's current and maximum hit points is increased by twice your witch level, and it gains a bonus to its damage rolls equal to your charisma modifier. That could be pretty good damage. You can cast other hexes while this hex is in effect. Once you cast this hex, you can't cast it again until your familiar is dismissed or until its duration expires. Wow. The familiar stuff is really good. That's really good stuff. Disorient. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet to make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, whenever this target makes an attack roll before the end of its next turn, it must roll a d6 and subtract the number rolled from the attack. See, remembering now that you only have to land it once, and then you can use Cackle to keep it going, all of these become a lot more powerful. Like, they seem kind of weak because they only last one round, but they only last one round unless you are cackling, which prolongs the effect. This stacks with Bane, by the way, Disorient. So if you could land a Bane and a Disorient, you're talking about a creature losing a D4 and a D6 off of every attack. That's kind of a big deal. Doom Ward. As an action, choose one friendly creature other than yourself you can see within 60 feet. If this creature drops to 0 hit points before the end of your next turn and doesn't die outright, it drops to 1 hit point instead. This hex then ends and can't be used to target the same creature until you finish a short or long rest. Oh, wow, that's cool. You basically give half orc ability to somebody. That's pretty dope. Okay. Duplicity. As an action, you create an illusionary duplicate self composed of shadow stuff to confuse your enemies. When a creature attacks you, roll any die on an even a D1. On an odd number, the attack strikes the duplicate and misses, regardless of the roll, and the hex ends. On an even roll, it hits you as normal. This effect lasts until the end of your next turn. So it's like a discount mirror image that doesn't use any spell slots. Okay. Evil Eye. As an action, choose one creature you can see. It's got to make a wisdom saving throw. It is frightened. It's pretty good. Fortune. As an action, choose one friendly creature. That creature has advantage on saves until the end of your next turn. Very cool. Go Unseen. As an action, you and your familiar become invisible. Holy shit. This effect ends at the end of your turn, or if you are familiar, attack or cast a spell. I guess if you're cackling, they're gonna know where you are, but I guess you still benefit from being invisible, because it's 5th edition D&D. That's kind of cool, though. But they do say, like, once you cast this hex, you can't cast it again for 1 minute. So that kind of balances out a little bit. Hobble. As an action, choose one creature. Strength save. Yuck. On a failed save, creature's speed is reduced by 10 feet. If the creature is... Holy shit. If the creature is flying, it falls. Wow. That's the good shit right there. Oh my god. Wow. Alright. Alright. And then you just keep cackling at it and it can't get up. Oh my god. Damn. Knowing. As an action, you open your third eye and become intuitively aware of your surroundings. You have advantage on wisdom insight rolls. That's a weird flex. Additionally, choose the following pieces of information. If a creature can speak a language, if a creature is at or below half its minimum hit points, bad news, we already tell everybody when things are bloodied or not. What the creature's lowest ability score is. I guess we'd have to homebrew something instead of the bloodied status. You learn that piece of information for each creature within 30 feet. What the fuck? You can only learn one of these things about a creature, even if you cast this hex more than once. Wow. Wow. Let's see. A witch casts their terrible hexes as an extension of their curse. As their curses are magical in nature, their hexes are considered 0th level spells for the purposes of features and spells such as Counterspell and Dispel Magic. Well, that's good to know. Way to clarify that shit. Furthermore, all hexes cease while in an anti-magic field or similar effect. Mire, as an action, you can transform the ground within 30 feet where you are into a murky swamp, which is difficult terrain. You can move without penalty in this area. This effect lasts until the end of your next turn. That's pretty freaking crazy. You just instantly turn... what? As an action, you can transform the ground within 30 feet of you. I'm assuming this is a 30-foot radius around you? Oh my god. Okay. 0 level magic. Misfortune. As an action, choose one creature. Until the end of your next turn, whenever this creature rolls a 20 on a d20, the roll instead becomes a 1. What? What kind of monster would waste their action economy on that? That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. You're going to spend a whole action to deny the Dungeon Master a nat 20. I think the Witch is really good. I think it's really good, not just mechanically, because it's very good mechanically, but I think it's just really good because it's something different than what we've seen before, which is the goal when you're creating an original class. But that Misfortune ability, that's the ultimate troll right there. Who the hell is really going to take that ability? Obfuscate. As an action, you create a 20-foot radius sphere of fog centering yourself. The sphere spreads around corners. Its area is heavily obscured, aka you're invisible. This effect lasts until the end of your next turn or until a wind of moderate or greater speed disperses it. This is better than Magical Darkness and also worse because it's not darkness, so you can't ignore it with those sort of abilities. Peace Bond. As an action, you can lock weapons to their owners. The weapons and ammunition of each creature within 30 feet become locked in their sheaths, quivers, and holsters until the end of your next turn. During this time, a creature can use his action to free the weapon with a strength check opposed by your spell DC. That's really good. Holy shit. Pox. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 5 feet to make a Constitution saving throw. 5 feet. Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, they are poisoned until the end of your next turn. Yeesh, that ain't great. Ruin. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet to make a con save. On a failed save, their armor class decreases by 3. Oh my. That's pretty... oh my. Oh my. That is very nice. At low level especially? Oh my goodness. That is very nice. Okay. Let's see. Scurry. As an action, non-magical object you choose within 30 feet sprouts legs and runs away. You can't target... what the fuck? You can't target an object that weighs more than 10 pounds, nor can you target one that is being worn as clothing or armor. However, you can target certain objects that are being carried as long as they are not affixed entirely around a creature's body. Oh. Oh my. So you can't do armor, or somebody's belt, or clothes, or anything like that. For example, you can't target their helmet or sword that they're wielding, but you could target a drawstring pouch it is wearing, or a dagger that is sheathed at its side. The object animates, wriggles free of its owner. If it has one, it sprouts 2 legs and moves 20. It sprouts 2 legs. It's amazing, and moves 20 feet in a direction you choose. At the beginning of your turn, you can choose which direction the object moves. It has an AC of 10 if its AC was not already higher, and remains animated until the end of your next turn, or, until you keep cackling, or until you stop cackling, or somebody picks it up. Holy shit! Shriek. As a bonus action, you release a thunderous, blood-curdling screech. Each large or smaller creature you choose within 5 feet of you is pushed 5 feet away from you. No save. No save. No save. And there's no save. You just push everybody back 5 feet. Slumber. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet. Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, falls unconscious until it takes damage or until the end of your turn. Undead creatures which are immune to being charmed, and creatures whose hit dice or hit points are greater than 5 times your witch level are immune to this effect. Slur. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet to make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, the creature can't speak coherently until the end of your next turn. If the creature attempts to cast a spell that requires a verbal component, it must roll a d20. If it gets an odd result, the spellcasting fails. Ah, that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Tremors. As an action, you can create a small quake. Each creature on the ground within 10 feet of you must do a dexterity save or be knocked prone. Me. Ward. As an action, you can choose one creature you can see other than yourself within 60 feet. Each time the creature takes damage, reduce the damage by 3. Oh my. What a good low-level ability that is. Oh my goodness. Alright, then we've got... grand hexes. So these are the big ones that you get at higher levels. Cauldron. You can brew potions in a bubbling cauldron using raw components scavenged from nature. To this end, you have a pool of alchemy points. So this hex has its own system, and within the system has its own economy. That's incredible. You can spend 10 minutes to expend any number of alchemy points to brew potions. These potions remain potent for 24 hours, after which they become inert. If a potion calls for a saving throw, it uses your spell DC. That's crazy. Alright, so you just every day, you just make a bunch of potions that you take with you, including the Filter of Love, a potion of greater healing, a potion of growth for only 1 alchemy point. What? 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 Who? What? Oh my god. This is awesome. Potion of resistance? So you just pick whatever flavor resistance you want? Oh my god. Yeah, potion toxicity does nerf this a bit. Yeah. But oh my god, is that strong. Wow. Alright, Coven. You can induct others into your insidious coven by performing a special ritual over the course of 8 hours, which can be done during a long rest. You can intermingle your cursed magic with a willing creature, which has the spellcasting or pact magic feature. This creature enters into your coven. You can have up to 2 creatures other than yourself in your coven at one time. While 2 or more members of your coven are within 30 feet of one another, they gain the ability... Hey, I just had an idea. What if with potion toxicity, you only get potion toxicity if you drink the potion as a bonus action? So basically, like, you drank it too fast and you weren't able to, like, process it going in, and so that's what's causing the potion toxicity. And that's why people take a full 6 seconds to drink a potion, is because if you drink potions too fast, they poison you. I don't know. I mean, seems like a cool way to, like, open back up potions, right? But still give you the option to, like, get a bonus action potion if you really needed one. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of cool. All right, back to this. Let's see. You can intermingle your cursed magic with a willing creature which has the spellcasting or pack magic feature. This creature enters your coven. You can have up to 2 creatures other than yourself in your coven at one time. What a cool thing! What the fuck? While 2 or more members of your coven are within 30 feet of each other, they gain the ability to cast additional spells as shown on the coven spellcasting table. It has its own table? Oh my god. Additionally, members of your coven gain access to a shared pool of 5 spell slots, one of each level from 1st to 5th, which they can use to cast any spell known to them. Expended spell slots are regained when all members of the coven finish a long rest. Coven members use their own spellcasting ability to determine spell attacks and DCs. Coven members can't cast spells of a level for which they do not have personal spell slots. even if using a high... Oh, so Warlocks are kind of hosed in this one. A shared spell slot can be used, for instance, to cast a lower level spell at a higher level, but it can't be used to cast a spell normally too high for that level. Okay, so the Warlock's not super hosed, but they don't have the same flexibility as other people, as usual. Bane, Hideous Laughter, Invisibility, Raven Enfeeblement, Bestow Curse, Counterspell, Banishment, Polymorph, Contagion, and Scrying, all great witch spells. That's amazing. That Coven is amazing. Dual Hex. You can cast, when you cast a Hex which targets one creature, you can target two creatures instead. While both targets are under the effect of your Hex, you gain the benefits of your Insidious spell feature for each of them. Forceful Personality. Your Charisma score increases by 2. Oh shit. To a maximum of 22. Oh my. Hybrid. As a bonus action, if your familiar is within 5 feet of you, you can meld with it. What? Transforming into a magical hybrid. For the next minute, you gain the following benefits. You gain temporary hit points equal to your familiar's hit points. Your armor class is 10 plus dexterity plus charisma as long as you are not holding a shield. You gain 2 natural melee weapons corresponding to your familiar's attacks. You have proficiency in these weapons, and you use charisma for the attack and damage rolls. On a hit, these weapons deal 1d10 bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, your choice. You can attack twice instead of once when you take the attack action. You ignore this benefit if you already have a feature like extra attack that gives you extra attacks. You can use any action or movement that your familiar possesses. This transformation lasts 1 minute or until you dismiss it. When it ends, your familiar is dismissed, and you can't summon it again until you finish a short or long rest. This is fucking amazing. This is one of the new classes from this book, and we haven't even gotten to the subclasses yet. This book is bananas. Okay. Poison Apple. As an action, you can produce a magical apple out of thin air. The apple can possess whatever appearance you wish, be it ruby red coloration, a golden skin, or the appearance of a crystal. On your turn, you can use an action to eat the apple, granting you the following benefits. You regain hit points equal to twice your witch level plus charisma modifier. You regain an expended spell slot of 5th level or lower. You can end one of the following conditions affecting you: blinded, deaf, and paralyzed, or poisoned. However, the apple is suffused with your insidious magic. If a creature other than yourself eats the apple, it does not gain any benefits and must instead make a wisdom saving throw against your save DC with disadvantage. On a failed save, the creature becomes poisoned for 24 hours. For each hour that it's poisoned, it loses 4d8 hit points. This loss can't be reduced or avoided. If this reduction causes the creature to drop to 0 hit points, it instead drops to 1 hit point and falls into a catatonic sleep, remaining unconscious for up to 7 days. Remove... What? A remove curse or similar magic can awaken this creature early. The apple shrivels and becomes non-magical if it isn't eaten within 24 hours. Once you produce a magical apple, you can't produce another one until you finish a long rest. This class is amazing. Possession. As an action, your body becomes immaterial, and your spirit dives into a large or smaller creature you can see within 10 feet of you in an attempt to possess it. This target must make a charisma saving throw. A creature with a challenge rating greater than your witch level automatically succeeds. On a failed save, you disappear and the target becomes incapacitated and possessed. You get control of its body, but don't deprive the target of its awareness. While possessing this creature, you can't be targeted by any attack, spell, or effect. You maintain your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma ability scores and your alignment, but otherwise use the creature's statistics. You don't gain access to the target's knowledge, class features, or proficiencies. Boo! For the purpose of the spell and effects, which can end possession, such as dispel evil and good, you are treated as an undead spirit and can be banished from the target, returning to your own body, which rematerializes within 5 feet of the target. This possession lasts for 1 hour, or until the body drops to 0, or you are forced out by a spell or magical effect that ends possession. Once you use this ability, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. This class is breaking my brain. It is so cool. Oh my god. Like, we look at a lot of homebrew stuff, you know, like when we're doing prep and we're working on stuff, we look at a lot of homebrew stuff. You know how upset I get when we're looking at some real bad shit. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about that blood cleric from a few weeks ago. That blood cleric from a few weeks ago, right? Like, there's some real bad shit out there that we run into. This is not bad. This is just cool. Okay? This is just cool. War Hex. When you cast a hex that targets a single creature, you can use your bonus action to cast a cantrip targeting the same creature. It's kind of cool. Good action economy. Witch's Broom. You can use your action to enchant a mundane object, like a broom, cauldron, or rug. Because if you had a cauldron, you're basically Bowser in his clown car at that point. You paint a clown face on the cauldron. Oh my god. You gain a flying speed of 60 feet while holding onto this item with one hand, as long as you are not wearing medium or heavy armor, or God forbid, using a shield. Witches can never use shields. That's their number one weakness, I've figured out. You can only enchant one... Too bad you can't enchant your shield, derp. You can only use one enchant... You can only enchant one object using the ability at a time. If you target another object, the enchantment on the previous object ends. So bam, you just get Witch's Broom. You just get it. One of the best items in D&D. You just get it on demand. Witch's Broom. Makes sense, you're a witch. Makes sense, checks out. It checks out. Witch's Hut. You can perform a 24-hour ritual to enchant a structure, which can fit within a 15-foot cube, animating it as a huge object, as per the Animate Object spell. The structure rises up on a pair of goddamn magical legs and follows your commands. The entrance to the structure is linked to an extra-dimensional abode as per Magnificent Mansion spell. You can command the structure from inside this abode. If the structure is destroyed, the extra-dimensional abode is unharmed, but its occupants are ejected to an unoccupied space adjacent to the structure. As an action, you can teleport the structure to an unoccupied space within 60 feet of you. Once you teleport the structure, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. You can repeat this 24-hour ritual to end the enchantment on your previous structure and enchant a new one. Holy shit! This is some cool stuff. Alright, so now let's talk about... Oh my god, so good. It's so good. Okay, let's talk about the subclasses. Witch's Craft is distinct from schools of magic. Those are dumb. Witch's Crafts are cool. Alright, sounds good to me. Let's do it. Black Magic. Black Magic is associated with hexes that cause pain and suffering, and spells which give rise to undeath. Harnessing such a craft can lend you great power, but inevitably carries a great cost. Darkness cannot be contained. Here are your edgelord spells, including a new one called Exhume, which I'm assuming is a low-level undead making spell. Special hexes you can get. Decay. When you adopt this craft at 3rd level, you learn to drain the vitality from a living being. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet. Con save. 1d4 necrotic damage at the beginning of its next turn, and its hit point maximum is reduced by the amount of necrotic damage taken. This is good for NPCs, not so much for player characters, because how often do bad guys really heal themselves? The target dies if this effect reduces it to 0. I mean, it's cool though, because let's see. I wonder if you keep cackling, do they take the 1d4 damage every turn? I think they do. So that's kind of cool. But 1d4 damage, even automatically, it's going to take a long time to kill somebody. It's still pretty good though. Undead Command, starting at 6th level, you have intertwined the magic of your familiar with the magic you use to animate the dead. When you use your bonus action to command your familiar, you can use the same bonus action to issue a command to any undead you control via the animate spell, dead spell, or similar magic. I like how your familiar is very strong and your hexes are very strong, but they both use your bonus action economy. So you do have to make that tough choice every round about how you're going to use your bonus action. Very good design. Very good design. Life Tether at 10th level. As a reaction, when you take damage from a creature you can see, you can transfer some of that damage to a creature which is the sole target of your hex. You take half the damage rounded down, and the hex creature takes the remaining damage. Well, that's dope. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again. But you know what you could do? Just saying. You know what you could do? You could hex the boss, and then you could have the rogue in your party backstab you. and then give half the damage to the boss. Just saying, be kind of cool. All right, Black Sacrifice, being at 14th level, if your familiar is within 10 feet of you, you can use your action to command it to dissolve its magical bond to this plane, which unleashes a torrent of necromantic energy. So you blow your familiar up like a bomb. Each creature you choose within 20 feet must make a dexterity saving throw or take 8d10 necrotic damage. Okay. And a target dies if it are reduced to 0 health by this. Once you use this ability, you can't summon your familiar again until you finish the long rest. Holy shit. Oh, by the way, there are actually 9 subclasses of witch. There actually are 9 subclasses of witch. I was joking earlier that there would be 9, but yeah, there's 9 subclasses of witch. Oh my god. So they got the blood magic. This is the most forbidden of all the witch magics, apparently. Let's see. Blood curse, starting at 3rd level. You can mark a creature with a sinister blood curse. 60 feet, constitution. Failed save. This creature is on the brink of death until the end of your next turn. If the creature at any point in this turn has less than its maximum hit points and has fewer hit points than twice your witch level, it immediately drops to 0 and dies. Wow. Wow. That's intense. Novice Hemomancy. Also at 3rd level, when you cast a spell which requires material components that you do not have a specific cost, you can replace the material components with a drop of blood. Oh, that's kind of neat. I mean, it doesn't really... I mean, it's no real gameplay effect, but it's still pretty cool. I guess if you were taken prisoner and you had you're completely naked, you would still have spell components and nobody else would. So that's a thing. Arcane Bloodletting. Lastly, at 3rd level, that's why they get an extra one, because this is kind of like super niche. Lastly, at 3rd level, you can impel your magic with a measure of your own blood. When you cast a spell that has a casting time of 1 action, you can choose to lose 5 hit points. Don't you say that it's going to turn into a bonus action. To change the casting time to 1 bonus action. For only 5 hit points? What? You can use this feature a number of times per day, equal to your charisma modifier. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. This class is bonkers. Deathseeker. At 6th level, you can see those near death shrouded in a crimson aura, even in heavily obscured conditions. Oh, this is some Witcher shit right here. You can detect the location of creatures within 60 feet that have less than their maximum hit points. This sense can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. Additionally, you have advantage on ability checks made to track a creature you or your familiar has damaged. Wow. Okay. Hemomantic Recovery. Beginning at 10th level, you can perform a blood ritual to bolster your magic once per day. When you finish a short rest, you can spend hit dice to recover expended spell slots. What? The cost for each spell slot is given on the table below. You can't use this ability to recover spell slots of 6th level or higher. Oh. Oh, shucks. Okay. Wow. Sanguine. By 14th level, you can wield your own blood like a vicious lash. Once per round, when you cast a spell which deals damage to a creature that is under the effect of your hex, you can choose to lose hit points to increase the amount of damage dealt. For every 5 hit points you lose, you can add 2d8 necrotic damage to the damage roll, up to 6d8 damage. This feature only applies to a hostile creature, which is the sole target of your hex. Damn, that's cool. Okay, green magic, plants, and shit like that. Alright. Hex, Elder Tongue. Starting when you choose this craft at 3rd level, you know the speech of the forest. As a bonus action, you can attune yourself to the forest, granting you the ability to speak with beasts and plants in a limited manner until the end of your next turn. Most beasts and plants lack intelligence to convey or understand sophisticated concepts, but they could relay what they have seen or heard in the past. While you speak with them, you have advantage on all charisma checks to influence beasts and plants. Primal Ally. Whenever you summon your familiar, you conjure one that is hardier than normal. 3 times your witch level instead of twice your witch level for familiar hit points. Holy shit. Twin Familiar. By 6th level, when you summon your familiar, you can divide its spirit into 2 bodies. When summoned this way, your familiar is 2 identical creatures which share a single pool of hit points. Oh my god, this shit is so cool. Your twin familiars roll only once for initiative and act on subsequent turns. I thought familiars acted on your turn. We got some conflicting information here now. You can use your bonus action to command one twin to attack, and your action to command the other to attack. A spell or feature which targets or dismisses your familiar affects both the twins. That is amazing. Vital Nourishment. By 10th level, you exude an aura of green magic that restores and revigorates life around you. When you finish a long rest, plant life within 100 feet of you, where you finish your long rest, grows as if a month had passed, with abundant food, water, and other necessities. If the plants would produce fruit, berries, or vegetables, the plants grow enough to feed 6 creatures for 1 day. Additionally, choose up to 6 creatures that you can see at the end of the rest. Those creatures each gain temporary hit points equal to half your witch level plus your charisma modifier. You can also end 1 disease affecting each creature or one of the following conditions: blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned. What? Sacrificial Familiar. At 14th level, whenever you're targeted by a melee attack while your familiar is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to command it to dive in the way of the attack. This attack targets the familiar instead. You can use this feature a number of times, equal to your charisma modifier. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I love green magic. Green magic's amazing. Okay. Purple magic is illusion and enchantment. Hex, hallucination. Starting at 3rd level, you can affect the minds of other creatures. As an action, choose 1 creature you can see within 60 feet to make a wisdom saving throw. A creature that is immune to being charmed automatically succeeds on the save. Wasn't there already a charm one? On a failed save, the target's perspective of the world distorts into a horrific and alien place. The creature has a -1 penalty on attack rolls and ability checks it makes. Whenever the creature begins its turn, the penalty increases. So as long as you're cackling, this can go up to a -5 penalty. Oh. Nice. Very nice. False Authority. By 6th level, as an action, you can wrap yourself in an illusionary air of expectation. Any creature which sees you perceives you as an authority. A blacksmith might see you as the guild master, whereas a soldier might see you as their captain. The changes perceived by a viewer fail to hold up to physical inspection. This illusion lasts for 1 hour, or until you end it on your turn. See, this is nice. It's not just another disguised self. You know what I'm saying? To discern that you are disguised, a creature can use its action to inspect you, doing an intelligence investigation, which no NPCs usually have, by the way, against your DC. But once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Deceitful Transposition. Starting at 10th level, you can use your bonus action to create an illusionary disguise over 2 creatures within 60 feet, making it seem as if they have teleported and switched places. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. The disguise makes it seem that the creatures are in one another's spaces, moving all sound, smells, and other effects caused by each creature to their correct points of origin. Creatures under the effect of the disguise do not perceive any part of the illusion. A creature could use its action to examine a magically disguised creature and make an intelligence check against your spell DC. On a success, they see both illusionary creatures what they are, which they're never going to make because NPCs are stupid and no one trains in investigation. This illusion lasts for 1 minute and ends early when one of the illusionary creatures takes damage, or or if one of the creatures performs any physical interaction which reveals it to be an illusion. It was really cool until we got to that part. I mean, it's still pretty cool, but it's definitely not as cool as it was. Waking Nightmare. By 14th level, you can warp everything a creature sees into a hellscape full of terrible creatures. When it fails its saving throw against your hallucination hex, you can further distort its mind, causing it to lose the ability to distinguish friend from foe regarding all creatures it sees as enemies until the hex ends. When the hex creature chooses a target for an attack, spell, or other ability, it must choose the target at random from among all creatures it can see within range. The Hex creature must always use its reaction to make an opportunity attack, even if creatures don't provoke one. Oh, sorry, if a creature provokes one. This effect ends after 1 minute. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish long rest. Purple, not that great. Purple, not that great. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you bought it because it's super dope. Red magic. Here we go. Arcane magic tied to channeling elements is deemed red magic. It's extremely hazardous, and it has to do with all the hurdy spells. Starting at 3rd level, you know how to strip away your foe's magical defenses. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet, Constitution saving throw. Choose a damage type. On a failed save, they lose resistance to that damage type till the end of its next turn. And of course, you could just cackle to make that go longer. Um, or get this shit. If it has immunity, you drop it down to resistance. And then you take that elemental adept feat, and now you're dealing full fire damage to a flame dragon. What? That's incredible. Not that a flame dragon's gonna fail a Constitution saving throw, but still pretty cool. Convolute energy. At 6th level, whenever you cast a spell that deals acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder, you gain resistance to that type of damage until the end of your next turn. Okay, kind of niche, but kind of cool, I guess. Invulnerability. Beginning at 10th level, when an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to become invulnerable. Subtract 50 from the damage dealt to a minimum of 0. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish the long rest. Well, that's dope. Alright. Elemental Annihilation. Starting at 14th level, when you cast a witch spell that deals acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage, you can expend another spell slot of equal or higher level, get ready for this shit, to maximize the damage. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish the long rest. Steel magic. Alright. Secret covens throughout the material plane use steel magic. That's cool. Beginning when you choose this craft at 3rd level, you gain proficiency with battle axes, flails, longswords, morning stars, rapiers, scimitars, tridents, and warhammers. At 3rd level, you get the hex Malevolence. It's a secret hex. Use your bonus action to shroud yourself with an evil smog until the end of your next turn. You don't need to make Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration on this hex. You gain the following benefits. Your armor class equals 12 plus dex plus charisma as long as you're not using a goddamn shield. You can make an attack with a melee weapon that lacks the heavy property. When you make a attack with a melee weapon that lacks the heavy property, you can use charisma instead of strength or dexterity for its attack and damage rolls. See, basically a hexblade. When you take damage from a creature, which you can see that is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against that creature. Oh, wow. So you get a counter attack. That's pretty dope. Cackling Killer. At 6th level, when you use your Cackle feature, you can attack twice instead of once whenever you take an attack action on your turn. Soul Sword Familiar. Starting at 10th level as a bonus action, you can draw the essence of your familiar into your weapon, manifesting in a green cloak of flame. Your familiar is dismissed and can't be resummoned until you finish a short or long rest. Until your familiar is resummoned, the weapon deals an additional 1d8 fire damage on a hit. Okay, kind of cool. Shrieking Strike. Starting at 4... Well, if you're not able to use your familiar because you're constantly cackling to get extra attacks, I mean, you might as well turn that familiar into an extra d8 fire damage. Shrieking Strike. Starting at 14th level, your accursed magic has seeped into your weapon once per turn. When you hit another creature with a melee weapon attack, you can perform a Shrieking Strike. The target must succeed in a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or become frightened of you until the end of your next turn. You can use this feature a number of times per day equal to your charisma modifier. You regain all uses when you finish a long rest. Alright. Tea magic. Tea magic is divination and a little bit of enchantment magic. Alright. So, Tasseography, I guess. Starting when you choose this craft at 3rd level, you can see glimpses of the future in your tea leaves. As an action, choose a friendly creature you can see within 60 feet. Roll a d20, record the number. Till the end of your next turn, you can replace any attack, saving throw, or ability check made by the creature with this foretelling roll. You must choose to do so before the roll. Once you replace a roll this way, the hex ends. Huh. Okay. But it's a whole action. Hmm. And if you roll bad, I mean, but it's unlimited, which is pretty good. I could see some players trying to abuse it and say that they cast it before a fight and just cackle constantly until they use it. Tea ceremony. Also at 3rd level, you can magically conjure enough tea for you and your allies whenever you. That's important. That's really important. Until you take a short rest. A creature who drinks this tea loses 1 additional level of exhaustion. What? Frenzy Barbarian starts running. I'm coming! Here I am! I can finally play! Oh man, that's dope. Okay. Oh, and I guess everyone in Rime of the Frost Maiden and Mythic Odyssey wants a tea witch. Hell yeah. Um, Shapes and Omens. By 6th level, you can see deeper glimpses into the future through your tea leaves. When you finish a long rest, you can examine the shape of your tea leaves. The GM tells you what the shape is hinting at in the future events. For example, you see a tower in your tea leaves, you might encounter a wizard the following day. If you see a serpent, you might encounter the lair of a monster. Wow, there's a lot about this class that seems very flavorful. Herbal Remedy. By 10th level, you can cast Greater Restoration without expending a spell slot or the 1,000 gold and diamonds. Is it 1,000 or is it 200? Either way, it's a little pricey, and you get to do it for free. Every short rest. Oh my god, that's pretty cool. Invigorate. By 14th level is a bonus action. You can give yourself or a friendly creature you can see within 5 feet of you temporary rush of energy by drinking an energizing cup of monster. I'm sorry, tea. On the target's next turn, the target can make 1 additional attack on top of its regular action, and a possible bonus action, and a possible haste action. Once you use this ability, you must finish a long rest before using it again. I'm sorry to say this, but tea magic is not very good. It's fun and it's cool, but it's not very good. Technicolor magic is the power. I am not making this shit up. This is the magic of friendship. The magic of friendship. Animal friends. Starting when you choose this craft at 3rd level, you have advantage on all wisdom animal handling checks to befriend beast. When you use you may use charisma instead of wisdom on these checks if the creature is small or smaller. If you adopt a beast as a pet, you can temporarily dismiss it into an extra dimensional space as you would a familiar. Oh my god! You could really be a Pokemon trainer. Musical interlude. At 3rd level, you gain a hex which inspires your allies with uplifting speech or encouraging musical number. As an action, you can grant each willing creature you can see within 30 feet. They can also see you. A number of temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier plus half your witch level. These temporary hit points last until the end of your next turn. Wait. There's no limit. You could just do this every round. You gain a hex which inspires your allies' uplifting speech. As an action, you grant each willing creature you can see within 30 feet temporary hit points equal to charisma modifier plus these temporary hit. Oh, but they only last until the end of your turn. It's still pretty good, but the lasting until the end of your next turn. But it's a hex, so you could cackle to keep it going. Oh, cackling as a mechanic is just so brilliant. Alright, Friendship Bracelet. Beginning at 6th level, it's an action. You can weave a small bracelet of string, beads, and some other inexpensive material. You can always determine the location of a creature wearing one of these bracelets as long as you and it are on the same plane of existence. You can target the creature with spells and effects as if you could see it, even if obstacles or environmental effects obscure the target from your view. Wow, that's really strong. That's good. That's really good. Positivity. Starting at 10th level, you can leverage your bonds of friendship for protection. As a reaction, when a creature you can see attacks you, you gain a bonus to your armor class equal to the number of friendly creatures within 5 feet of you. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. That's adorable. Redemptive Arc. Beginning at 14th level, you can redeem your foes. This is 100% inspired by My Little Pony. Yep. When a hostile creature you can see reduces 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to protect the creature from harm, causing it to fall unconscious. When the creature awakens, it is freed from any magical effect which would charm, curse, frighten, or possess it. Furthermore, the creature loses one of its bonds or flaws which inspired it to be hostile towards you. Once you use this ability, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. What the absolute fuck is going on? This is one of 10 classes in this book. This is crazy. Okay, and finally, because I gotta go, because we got rhyme at 8 o'clock. White magic. White magic is fundamentally good and beneficial. Blah blah blah. You get remedy. At third level, you learn a hex which closes wounds and eases pain. As an action, choose one creature you can see within 60 feet. This creature regains the number of hit points equal to 1d10 plus your witch level. A creature which regains hit points from this hex can't be affected by it again until it finishes a short or long rest. That's a good mechanic. This is the same thing they use for the healer feat. I like it. That's solid. Talisman of Protection. At 6th level, you can craft a talisman which wards off harm. Creating a talisman takes 1 hour of work, which can be performed over the course of a short rest. You can only have one talisman at a time. Crafting a new talisman causes the previous one to become mundane. Any creature that wears the talisman adds a d4 to all saving throws, which would, of course, also stack with Bless. Oh, man. That's cool. Benevolent Surge. At 10th level, when you, your familiar, or one of your allies you can see within 30 feet of you takes damage, you can use a reaction to cause that creature to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your charisma modifier. But once you use this ability, you must finish a short or long rest before you use it again. Not that great for a 10th level ability. Witch's Gift. At 14th level, when you cast a spell or hex which restores a creature's hit points, that creature gains a +3 bonus to armor class until the end of your next turn. Well, that's pretty fucking good. Okay. And that is the witch class from from Valda Spire Secrets. And it is awesome. It is awesome. Wow, I am so excited about reading the rest of this book. I am really excited about this book. This is a great book. I am very happy about this book. I also peeked at the familiars, the special familiars they have at the bottom, and they are amazing and adorable. Yeah, so very, very cool. These are all things that the witch can unlock and have access to. Um, like, it's just amazing. So cool. And that's only one of 10. I think there's 10 new classes, and then there's new subclasses for every class. So, like, here we've got Ooze Master, which is a subclass of Sorcerer. So, like, you're an Ooze Sorcerer. Your innate magic stems from a long family line of ooze-infused blood. And so you have the ability to make a goopy clone of yourself, have a bouncy body, and generate, like, gelatinous cubes. Yeah, this is just one subclass, just random subclass that's in this book. This is an amazing book. If you're bored with 5th edition and you want something fresh or something new, you should definitely pick up this book. This is awesome.